who are you? What do you do?
Oh, gosh. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
At
very
long last,
excited to
right?
be here. This is going to be so much fun.
It is. It's going to be fun.
I'm Wendi, and I am with Creating Magic Vacations. Mm-hmm. And I've been a travel agent since June 1st of 2018. So our 8-year anniversary was not long ago.
Right.
And that is actually when the company started.
Okay.
I was one of the very first agents that they ever hired. So I'm one of the founding agents.
Way back, right? Good
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
And it's called Creating Magical Vacations.
Creating Magic Vacations.
Creating Magic Vacations.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what it says. And I
Yeah.
said magical anyway. I had it
Well,
on
it
paper in
sounds
front of me.
fun, so we could do that.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, though, right?
Yes.
Well, give us some of your background on your 8 years. It just says you recently had a blog post that said celebrating 8 years of magic.
I did. I sure did. So, a podcast can change your life. Did you know that?
I've heard.
Well, I have always loved Disney.
Mm-hmm.
My business started because of a love for Disney.
Right.
And I was helping people plan trips, either meeting them at restaurants and planning trips or over the phone. My mother had always told me I needed to do this for a living and figure out a way. So I was painting a basement and binge listening to a podcast called Disney Travel Secrets.
Okay.
And these two people, which are Rob and Carrie Stewart, were about to start their own travel agency.
I was just making sure it wasn't me. It happens. No worries.
Turn it off. That's a 7:00 alarm. Sorry.
All good.
Sorry. So they, Rob and Carrie Stewart, were starting a brand new agency, and they were looking for people who were trainable and had a love for Disney, and they were going to do the rest, and
Right.
they did. So Robbie and I talked about it, and I decided I wanted to do it. I had a couple of phone calls with Rob Stewart, and then I was it. I was all in at that point. And
So
that was-
what were you doing before this?
well, I was a nurse and been a nurse for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
And just one day you walked away from that?
well, no, it took 8 years, 7
Okay.
years till I walked away from
Okay,
it. So
okay.
I did both jobs all through COVID, both jobs all through recovery from COVID, and all of that. And I worked in the OR at Redmond and finished up my career there and left in February of 2025 to work travel full time.
When did you start in OR at Redmond?
Now you're going to get hard
Well,
questions
and
going.
I asked because I worked there started there in September of 99 and then worked there through, I think, December of 2000.
Okay. I started on the 3rd floor and worked as a flex nurse.
Okay.
And from there, I spent a lot of years on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
But being flex, I was pulled all over the hospital.
Right.
And left that to go work in the recovery room. And worked in
Okay.
the recovery room for 5 years, I think. And
Okay.
then moved from the recovery room into the OR.
I got you. I was a transporter down there, so I didn't know the recovery nurses so well.
Right.
But I was in OR for a little over a year. It was my first grown-up job out of high school.
Boy,
So I didn't know if we'd overlapped at all.
you're all in going into the OR as your first adult job.
Ooh, I just, I knew
Did you
some
want
people.
to be in healthcare?
I didn't. I just needed a job.
Yeah. Ooh, well, that's all in right there.
It was a lot. But now you're all in
I am.
with
I am.
planning vacations.
I am. So joining Creating Magic Vacations was easy. That was a quick conversation we had, and that was not a big deal. But when I started saying I wanted to leave nursing and work travel full time, that was a larger conversation
Yeah.
that we had to have, and that took a little longer. And it's funny
Right.
because I made a post about it the other day about how, Robbie and I talked, and he would see that this wasn't just a job, that this was something that had meaning, and getting to see families take vacations that
Yeah.
they never thought they were going to have, or get to see
Yeah.
couples come back and reconnect off of a trip that they had, and getting to hear all about how a grandmother had taken her children to either an all-inclusive resort or on a cruise, or, to Disney, and come back, and just the amazing time they had. That's when we decided that this is really needed to be what I did full time.
Well, it's cool to find purpose in that, because so many people, like I said a minute ago, I just needed a job, right?
Yeah.
And so many people do that, and you try to find a job that is going to stress you out less than other jobs, I guess. But
Yes.
I've had guests on here before, and I've talked about like living your dream, and I know about 3 people in my entire life who are living their dream.
Now
and
you know 4.
doing what they right exactly, and that's really cool that you find purpose in that instead of just going there's a bunch of money to be made in this,
Right.
and I can just snatch it all up, and send these people to Tahiti or wherever.
It's truly a passion.
Yeah.
I've always had a passion to help people, and I tell people I still do help them. I just don't wear scrubs while I'm doing it now.
Right,
But I
yeah.
still get to come alongside of them at a very vulnerable time, because if you're about to put 5, 10, 15,000 on
Yeah.
a vacation, you're at a vulnerable state
Yeah.
because you need some direction and some help. And so I come along beside them. I have clients who have traveled tons of times, and then I have clients who have never traveled before, and I meet them at their need, whichever, if they need a lot of hand holding and planning, and Disney is a beast. If we're doing Disney,
Oh, gosh.
everybody needs some help with Disney because
Yeah.
it's a huge beast. But if not, if it's an all-inclusive or if it's a cruise line, I just meet them where they're at, and I help them plan, and I'm with them from start to finish. And even after they get home, I text them when they're on their trip. I try not to bug them too much, and I'll tell them, okay, this is it. I need to hear one more time. You're on the ship. You're having a good time.
Right,
Everything's
right,
going
yeah.
great.
You
And then I'll
made it.
leave you alone. You're
Yeah.
there. And then, and then I just reach out after they get home. So,
Cool.
and then I have some people that, can do it all by themselves, but they don't have the time or they don't want the stress. So that's fine. I can plan that for them as well.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes into my next question. Your agency's tagline is curated family vacations, Disney magic, and effortless travel planning. How do you define effortless to the person who is just overwhelmed by trying to plan out all your meal stops at a Disney or
Yes.
Anywhere else for that matter?
The best and first thing they can do is reach out to me. That's going to be the hardest thing they need to do.
Right.
And then I'm going to take it from there. I'm going to work with them. Of course, I'm not going to, if I have a family of vegetarians, I'm not going to send them to the steakhouse
Right,
for
right,
dinner.
right.
So I do need to I start a relationship. I believe my whole business is relationship built.
Yeah.
And I find out your likes and your dislikes, your children's likes and dislikes, and, where you need to be on the ship. Some people need to be up high. Some people need to be down low, depending on motion sickness. Some people want to sleep in complete darkness, and so they don't want a balcony stateroom. They want an interior stateroom. Or some people, like myself, I've got to be able to get out. I don't know, the whole Titanic thing. I want to know I can jump off the side if I need to. So I want to be in a balcony room.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I figure that out with you. And then, so you do have some effort involved.
Right.
We've got to have some conversations.
Sure,
but
yeah.
other than that, hopefully it'll be seamless and easy.
Well, the last thing I want is to say, well, you just plan it all. And then I get on the ship or on the plane or at the hotel and I go, well, this is not
Right.
what I want. So some
Right.
input is good, I guess.
Yes, you do have to, and I run everything by my clients, whatever we have planned to make sure that that's exactly what they want. And we don't always hit it on the first try.
Right.
There's multiple back and forth, either emails or text or phone calls, so that we do find the perfect fit for each different family, because nobody travels the same way.
Well, and it may be they don't know what they don't know,
Right. Oh,
until they get there.
That is oh my gosh.
like
that's
I didn't
so funny.
know about the difference in the height of the ship, until just now.
Right. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that is funny because Rob Stewart says that all the time on every time he talks to somebody, because people think they can just go and do it, or they can go online and do it.
Right.
But do you know that you're getting the best value? And do you know that you're getting the best placement?
Yeah.
And you don't, unless you're working with someone who does.
That's my thing. When I saw your Facebook post, or somebody tagged me, I guess it was, and they were like, hey, this lady wants to go on a podcast. And I'm looking, and I knew you, or knew of you at least, and we had even started planning a trip with you at one point. But I'm thinking, it's 2026. I've got AI, and I've got the Google, and I've got all the stuff, and I know some other people who have been there before. Like, why do I need a travel agent? But some of this stuff is why you need a travel agent.
Right. And at no cost to you. There's never a cost to you to have a travel agent on your team.
Okay.
So, and AI can only do so much.
Right,
It's as
right.
good as the information that you put in.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember to put everything in, then you're not getting the best out.
Right.
So
So how does it work then? I'm not paying you at all,
you're not.
and you're
I'm
still
making
eating,
money.
and your lights are still on.
And the house is still paid
Yeah,
for.
if that's some trade secret you can't tell.
No,
then,
it's not a trade secret at all. If you book with Sandals, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Disney, Universal, anybody, any place you can go, all of those commissions for travel agents are built in already.
Okay.
And if you book direct, those companies just say, hey, thanks so much for not using a travel agent. And they pocket
Politics,
that money.
we call that a kickback, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
That's
So
cool though.
They
So
keep
it's-
it all.
I don't ever have to write a check to Wendi Corn. It's
No.
all in the. That's
No.
awesome.
There's no fees at all. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, that takes some of it because I'm thinking, well, you got to hire a travel agent. You hear that, right? I got to hire a travel agent.
Exactly.
You're not really hiring the travel agent. That's not how that works.
That's right. And so many people don't know that. That's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that it's going to cost me more to work with a travel agent, and it never does.
Yeah.
And the most awesome thing is, let's say you do book your family on to a Disney trip or on a cruise line, and a promo comes out that Disney puts out for, it's not out now, but you decide you want to go next fall. And we book you to go to Disney next fall. And then they drop their promos, and your package that we have built for your family fits into the promo. I price watch those, and Disney does not mind us repricing it.
Okay.
So you always get the best deal.
Oh.
And that's why I always tell people booking out further is always best.
Right.
Because it can also be like the local stores when they have red shirts. And I tell people this all the time. They're going to mark the red shirts down 50%, but they've marked that red shirt up 60% already, so they can take that 50% off, and they're still making a little money. So sometimes booking closer, even though it says it's a deal, isn't the best deal.
Right.
My clients always have the best deal that book the further out.
Oh, that's awesome. I know we started, I don't know, I guess it was close to a year and a half from when we were going to go on our trip. And so, but it was, like I said, we got about ankle deep into it and ended up not being able to go for different reasons. But, I realized pretty quick why when I knew we were going to Disney, and you got to plan meals, and we would love to eat there, but it's only open until, X time on this day, or they've only got this kind of food. And we'd be at Disney starving to death.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
On our own, you would have taken care of it, but if we tried to plan.
Right. Well, it can be hard. Like I said, it's a beast. Disney, of all places, is the hardest to try and tackle on your own.
Right.
You definitely need somebody there.
Well, so Disney it's like a major focus, obviously, for your agency, but what are some of the most common misconceptions that family have when they're planning a Disney trip?
Oh, okay.
I know I'm throwing you a curveball now.
That's okay. No. And yes, Disney is the reason I started, and Disney was the focus of my business for the first probably year and a half before I even branched out and did anything else. And the only reason I did that is because I'd planned these spring break trips for these cute families, and then at fall break I saw them on a cruise, and I was like, I need to branch out because I can do more than what I'm doing.
Right.
But for Disney, I tell people to book the further out you can, but we can book a trip in a close turnaround time and it still be amazing. You just have to know what we're doing, you know, and you have to get really familiar with the Disney app. You'll have an app on your phone, and you've got to be able to get really familiar with that. But that's not the only way you can go. I mean, there are people out here who don't have apps and don't understand apps, and they still go to Disney. So
you can do it, I guess. I just feel like I'd be stumbling around down there and
it's
hoping
easier
for the best.
Yeah, I don't want to go hope for the best.
Right.
It is easier if you are working with the app for sure. And but Disney has 26 on-property resorts, so we need to find you the perfect resort. They have 4 major parks, 2 water parks, 4 golf courses, 2 mini golf courses.
Wow.
Tons of things. So, misconception is that you can go without a plan, because you really can't.
That's insane. I can't. When we went to Disney, we went to the Magic Kingdom for a day, and it was Donald Duck's birthday.
Oh.
And I guess they had just opened Epcot.
Yes, probably. So then that was after 1980.
This would have been 84, maybe even 83. I was 5 or 6. I was a wee lad. But that was it at the time. There was pretty much just there was one other thing that wasn't Epcot, and I forget what it was. But it's huge now. It
may have been MGM.
Maybe.
Which is now Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. That might have been what it was. But we didn't get to go. We were in Ocala for a few days, and let's go to Disney World. That's when you could just do that, and we went and
we did the same
around.
thing in 1976.
Yeah.
We were at New Smyrna Beach, and my mom and dad decided we were going to Disney. That was the first time I'd ever been.
Yeah. I think we paid like $40 to get in,
Yeah. It is different than that these days.
Yeah.
It is different.
Lots going on down there. That's its own, I don't know, it's its own city, I guess.
I call it the Disney bubble.
Yeah.
Like for all our people who live in Armurchie and have the Armurchie bubble with Barry and all that, they think, but I call it the Disney bubble because you can do everything there.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is you never have to get in your own car. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Disney's going to transfer you anywhere you want to go,
Yeah.
either by a bus or
the old monorail.
a monorail,
Yeah.
or a Skyliner or the train. You know, there's always some way of doing
All
it.
the above.
All of the above.
Oh, good stuff. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm going to buy a Disney trip while you're here. I got to keep...
Well, hey, if you feel inspired.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll get to how to contact you and all that good stuff too. Something that caught my eye as I was perusing your website, you do safari trips.
We can, yes.
Safari, like to Africa safari, like lions and elephants and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
What is that like?
That I haven't got to do yet.
Okay,
That is
okay.
still a bucket list trip that is
Right.
going to get off the bucket list and onto the calendar for us very soon. But one of the funniest things, when I started this in 2018, I had a huge list, and he was like, "You do understand we can't do all of this in the first,
Right.
4
right.
years of your business."
Yeah.
So, but a safari is an incredible trip. We work with a company called Live Life Safari, and the owner of the company is a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go and you fly into Cape Town, and Cape Town is actually a huge foodie city.
Oh,
And
wow.
people don't know this. And you can also go swim with the sharks and other things like that. And then you can go out onto safari and you can stay. They have primitive type camping, and then they have a higher level of type camping, and then they have a lodge. And I kind of feel like I need a lodge. I want some
Yeah.
wood between me and the tigers.
Yeah, I
Or
like being
whatever.
outside and I hunt and fish and all those things. There are things there that'll hunt you back.
Yes. Yeah, you're not on the top of the food chain there.
Yeah, so give me some walls.
I like some lodge walls as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then you go in safari, and a very good friend of mine who is a travel agent, she's one of my dearest friends, has sent me a picture. She's been able to do this.
Yeah.
And the bus, the really cool looking safari bus,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lion, and he's got his rear end sitting on the hood and he's just propped up there waiting.
For as long
And
as he wants to,
As long
right?
as he wants. And she sent me a picture of this, and that was incredible. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Those
So-
are amazing type of trips.
Safari trip. How cool would that be?
Oh, yeah. Well, those are kind of things that are just, that are just amazing. And
Yeah.
any kind of travel, I think, changes you, but that definitely changes you.
It would for sure, because that's, yeah, I don't know. You can go to Disney if you're live in Georgia or Nebraska for that matter, and you see things that you see on Disney Plus or the internet or whatever, but you don't just get to see an elephant
No,
or a jackal or a hyena.
not out in the
It's
wild.
just- no,
and they
no.
purposely take you out to places where,
Yeah.
that they report that obviously you can hear the lions getting closer if you're sleeping outside.
Right.
And that I don't know that I would have any sleep at that point.
No, I don't know. I might like to camp out there if I was well armed or somebody else was close by once.
Not
But
me.
I wouldn't sleep for sure. There's no way I'm sleeping out there.
No.
Because I don't sleep if we hunt and camp in places where there are bears. And our bears around here are like big raccoons. So they're not going to bother you, but it still is, you got one eye open.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, with lions and hippos, and and hippos are very loud, I'm told. So
Yeah, that's what I hear. I've never been that close to a hippo before.
no,
Yeesh.
it'll happen one day.
Yeah, one of these days, right? But you got another blog that talks about Atlanta to Seattle, which is an Alaskan cruise.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Last year, we hosted 32 people on the Celebrity Edge, and we we went round trip out of Seattle into Alaska and spent the week, and then flew back home from Seattle. And that was incredible.
Yeah.
Alaska's beautiful. I can't
Oh,
explain.
gosh.
It's just gorgeous. And,
Yeah.
and this past week, I had multiple different families cruising on different cruise lines in Alaska. And everybody needs to go to Alaska. They need to see Alaska. It's right here, in our own country.
Yeah.
And it is stunning.
I'm so my wife got to go. It was sort of her graduation gift from nursing school. It's been almost 10 years ago now. She went to Juneau,
Okay.
which is it's just barely Alaska, right? It's pretty far south in terms of Alaska, but it was Alaska because she stayed with some people that she knew up there, and they were like, "Hey, look out the peephole before you open the door because there might be a moose in the yard."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
We saw whales in Juneau when we were
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We went whale watching, and it's gorgeous. The water in up in Alaska is, I tell people it's the bluest of blue, and it's clear, but it's kind of milky. It's silent.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And we sat on the back of the ship many nights, and they give you blankets so that you can wrap up and you can sit there, and we sailed slowly through the inside passage and to see, just hear nothing and just see. And
see, that's my trip.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
That's what I think. The safari would be cool. I've got to go to Alaska.
Alaska, you need to do first.
Yeah.
It's right here in our home country.
Yeah.
So
no passport or anything, right?
that's right. Well, it's better if you do cruise with a passport.
Okay. Yeah.
I tell people that's best practice if you cruise with a passport, because you do go to Canada. So,
okay.
And you can do round trip Seattle and
So,
do the inside passage, or you can sail up from Vancouver to Alaska, or you can do from Alaska, which is Whittier, the Anchorage port is Whittier, or Seward, south to Vancouver.
Okay. So could you just not get off the boat in Vancouver?
No, you can.
Yeah.
You can, even if you have your birth certificate. It's
Right.
just best if you have a passport.
Yeah.
Alaska, not so much. But if you were to cruise in the Caribbean, and even though it was round trip out of Port Canaveral, I can put you on that ship with just your birth certificate and driver's license, or if female needs her marriage license as
Right.
well to make the name change.
Yeah.
But if something were to happen to you at a port of call that is not an American port, I can't get you home
Oh,
unless you're on that ship.
yeah. That's
So
a problem.
you've got to have a passport in order for me to get you home.
Right.
So unless you get back on that ship. So if you get hurt, let's say in Nassau, Bahamas, then we have a problem if I can't get you on that ship. So it's best practice to have a passport.
Yeah. Well, so am I wrong in thinking that the process has changed for that and that's become a much easier thing?
Passport, very
Yeah.
easy.
Okay. Because it used to be like a 6-month deal, right?
Our local post office is fantastic,
Oh,
and
good.
you can make an appointment there. And now actually we got 2 of our passports at a post office in Alabama because we couldn't get an appointment here at the local one. But you can go in there; they'll take your picture, they'll help you fill it all out. You can even start to fill it out online.
Okay.
And it takes. I tell people, I think the passport line says 12 to 18 weeks, but usually they're coming in around 6.
Yeah.
So it's not near as hard as it used to be.
Okay.
And through COVID, that was one of the departments that got really backed up or slowed down.
Right.
It was taking months to get
that's
things back, but
what
no
I thought
longer.
I'd heard at one
Yeah.
point, and then now it was because we've got a group from church going to India in the fall, and they're going, "Well, get your passport and go. It only takes 8 weeks now or whatever."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's not that long.
Good.
It's $150 to get a passport.
it's not bad.
You pay $50 to the post office for helping and a $100 fee to the passport.
Well, considering that you're going to use your passport to go spend thousands of dollars, that $150 is not so bad.
It's not. And to know that you have the peace of mind that if something were to happen and I have you off at another country, an island
Yeah.
in the Caribbean, then I can get you home easily and quickly as opposed to having to do a lot of other things. It's really
Yeah.
great to have your passport. And it lasts for an adult for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, that's definitely worth $150. Mm-hmm. So, have you ever had to get anybody home that something happened? I mean, don't say anybody's name or anything.
No, actually I haven't.
Good,
So,
good.
Good things.
Hopefully
good
it
things.
stays that way.
That's right. Good things happen. But,
Yeah.
have to err on the side of caution. That's the nurse in me.
Yeah. Well, good. You've got a Mediterranean cruise coming up.
We do.
What? Holy smokes! It's on the Celebrity. How do you say that? I think you
XL.
said XL. Okay. That's next month.
No, next year.
Oh, that says 27 on my paper here in front of me.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say, it should say
No,
27.
it says 27.
Okay, perfect. Yes. No, next month we're actually going to Portugal. So,
wow.
and we're taking a group to Portugal. But next year we have a group going on the Celebrity XL, a round trip out of Barcelona, Spain. So if you know anybody that's looking, a lot of people are just trying to check off boxes of countries that they've been to.
Right.
We'll do 3 countries because we'll do Spain, Italy, and France on that cruise. And it's round trip.
Europe's so cool.
Europe is easy. Once you're over there, it's so easy to do other countries.
Yeah.
And people don't realize. I mean, it's kind of like driving across the state line here.
Well, we can be, in an hour's time, we can be in Tennessee via Alabama from where we are, and I guess it's the same there
It is very similar.
because they're just on top of each other.
Very similar.
Yeah.
But we don't. This is why I say travel changes you, because people who have really never been out of our country don't understand antiques. We are amazingly turning 250 years old.
Yeah.
But these other countries have us by hundreds,
Yeah.
centuries
Yeah.
of years on us.
Yeah.
When you're walking down cobblestone streets, that have been there, when you're seeing cities that are walled cities, that are still walled
Yeah.
cities. And, you know, when you're going and seeing these places and you realize that there's so much more than how we live. And it makes a well-rounded human to get to travel. You know, it just turns you into somebody who, not saying that, I believe if I can talk you into anything, then I can talk you out of something.
Right. Yeah.
You know that saying? So not that I believe that anything like that, but I do believe that it makes us as humans maybe a little more compassionate as to why other people live other ways.
Yeah.
When you can see things.
Well, God, you know, I've never been out of the country, but I have been to West Virginia, and God bless them. It's the towns are towns, and they've got, you know, stuff that we've got. But we're doing mission work there, and we're asking some of the people that we had gotten to know locally, like, what we want to talk to those people up that road, and they'll kill you. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But you get into places like that, and they live in the holler, you know, and there's a guy sleeping under a pickup truck camper shell, and you know that's not necessarily the highlight of traveling and travel changing you, but it does, and you see things and you witness things that you wouldn't see if you just stayed on your couch. And I can only imagine going to a different country just would compound that into a whole different thing, because you see a walled city that's been there for 1,000 years or 5,000 years. You know, it's been there forever. And we got, you know, Broad Street downtown has been there since 1839.
Right.
It's not the same.
And we think that's old.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, talking about that, it's funny. Several years ago, I was sitting on a beach in St. Lucia by myself. Robbie was not with me. He was in the room. And a gentleman walked up who was a St. Lucian, because the beaches aren't private. A lot of them aren't private. So, you know, they're going to be locals. And he wanted to sell me something that he had made, and he was turning pond fronds into really cool hats, or really small animals and really cool things. And he was trying to sell me that. And if that had been my first trip, it would have really scared me.
Yeah.
But he did not mean me any harm.
Right.
And he wasn't begging me for money. He truly wanted to sell me something. And when I explained, obviously I'm sitting here on the beach in my bathing suit. I don't have any cash on me.
Yeah, no pockets, bud.
But I want to talk to you and hear your story. And he sat and we talked for a very long time. And it was just really cool because I was okay with that. I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't scared. So that's how, even as an adult, because I had never left the country until I was an adult. I had never been on a plane until after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
So I never flew before
now you're
that.
A travel agent.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
cool.
So that's, you know, that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about it, just makes you understand people where they're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, because we have people who don't want to work. They would like for you to hand them something.
Right.
But this guy figured out how to create hats. And had I had money, I would have bought, because he made all these cute little animals.
Absolutely.
Had I had some money, I would have given him some money and taken whatever he had.
Well, the guy's he's just taking advantage of the tourist economy, just like
that's right.
The guy selling Airbrush T-shirts in Gatlinburg.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's working for it.
And his thing is way cooler.
Yes. Yes. And he's working for it.
Oh, that's cool. I got to travel more. I feel like I've traveled a lot, but it's never been outside. Well, we got a lot of cool stuff in our country too, but
we do.
Never been outside of the country.
I love Jamaica. The people of Jamaica, I truly believe, have the gift of hospitality like no other.
That seems like it'd be fun.
Islands are beautiful and people are amazing, but the Jamaican people truly love you and they want you to love their country.
Yeah.
They love their country. You drive down the road headed to wherever you're going, and their flag colors are green, yellow, and red, I believe, and they're everywhere. Their houses are painted that. There's flags hanging. They are proud of their country, and they want you to love it. And they want you to love them so much that you come back. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's their thing there. They want people to come to Jamaica. That's I guess it's a huge chunk of their economy.
I would imagine it's a large portion of it.
Yeah. There's not a ton of things going on there, but it's a beautiful place. So let's go hang out on the beach. So, yeah, they're nice to you. They want you to come back. We had an opportunity to go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's one of the things I kick myself about, doing another mission trip, and I didn't go. But I hear it's the same type of thing. It's just a beautiful place, and everybody loves you and wants you to come back, and you know, nobody's trying to rob you or you know, it's not a negative experience at all. They just
you know, you need to be smart when you travel.
Yeah.
And I tell people this because ironically we all think, well, I'm on vacation so nothing bad can happen.
Right.
And we tend to want to let our guard down so much that, you can't get so relaxed because you need to be where other people are. You need to always know your surroundings.
Right.
There are places here in our own hometown that I have no business being alone.
Right.
And there are places like that in all of the world.
Sure.
You know, and you need to remember that you're traveling and that you're a tourist and that you can probably be spotted as a tourist.
Right.
On anywhere that you are,
Yeah.
you know. So that is one of the things you need to pay attention to when you travel. You just don't get so relaxed that you lose your sense of where am I?
Well, and it would be easy to do in a tropical paradise, right? And you're just strolling down the beach and everything's
Or in
beautiful.
Italy or
Yeah.
where the pickpockets are
Right.
in the city of Rome.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be prepared for things like that. And that's another thing I tell my clients. Here's a tip for everybody out there. If a man has his wallet, you put it in your front pocket and you put it as far down as you can and buy some really big rubber bands and wrap it in a rubber band, because if someone tries to slip that out of your pocket, the rubber band will roll on your hip as it's coming out, and maybe it'll help you feel
Create a little friction. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is harder for them to get out.
I'm
So
gonna
that's
start
just
doing
a
that
tip.
when I go to Walmart.
Well, you might need to. That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there's bad and good everywhere you go. You can get into one different neighborhood or the other.
Yes.
But I saw somebody had tagged you in one of these videos.
Oh,
Yeah, right. So you're always seeing on a plane or on a cruise ship, there's some people who might have had too much to drink, or maybe they're just crazy. And you see a fist fight or somebody, coming unglued and acting away on the airplane. Is there a way to avoid stuff like that? Or is it just going to happen because people are there?
that incident happened actually this weekend.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that client just got home Friday. There is usually a way to steer away from that. And you think about this. In the world of travel, if you're paying more for something, there is a reason you're paying more for something. Now, not in the case of what you've seen, not that case, but normally you don't want, if something is really, really too good to be true,
Yeah.
probably is.
Yeah.
So you need to be leery of that.
Right.
And you when you're paying more for something and getting something for that, then you're going to kind of weed out some of that kind of misbehavior.
Yeah.
But that incident actually was some locals starting some of that
okay.
too. So that tomorrow morning I will be addressing that with my contact with that cruise line to figure out
All right.
what all is going to happen because of that. So, because that's on it's Royal Caribbean, and it's on it's on their beautiful private island portion in Nassau, Bahamas. And so I'm really curious as to how they're going to handle it.
Yeah.
know?
I don't know. If you scroll long enough, you see there's a ton of those videos out there, but I've never seen any. I've never been on a plane with somebody who
And I haven't
unruly
either.
or anything like that. And I thought, well, this is happening somewhere,
It does.
but I pay a lot for my airplane tickets too.
Yeah. Well, that's, sadly, there's one of the little airlines that didn't make it because they couldn't make it in the world of the
You
big
can't
airline companies.
sell airlines tickets for $18, or
and expect to stay around.
right,
You can't.
right.
You can't. But
God bless them.
usually, and I try and tell people that, we don't want to come in at the least dollar mark,
Right.
because even though you think that's a good deal, some people, that's all the deal they want.
Yeah.
And then if they're getting such a great deal, that may not be who you want to hang out with for the next 72 hours on a 3-night cruise.
Right.
Or something like that.
Get what you pay for.
You do get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And I try and help my clients with that, and help them, guide them into where they need to be.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And I wouldn't have known that, I guess. I would have just seen, that seems like a cool place to go hang out, and never considered where something like that might or might not have happened. And
Well, that's gonna be a curious one.
yeah. Well, and I guess, I don't know, there's no way to guarantee it, because people just do people stuff, and you never know.
You do, and sadly, if they start to drink too much, then they don't act. They may act very differently than they would have acted had they not been drinking.
Right.
So there's probably a lot to this story. There usually is, and especially on different cruise lines. There's,
Right.
Sometimes it's own families.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. God
maybe they
bless
don't need to travel as a group together
Maybe
anymore.
not. Well, I guess travel It's one of those things that's going to reveal your character one way or the other, right?
Yeah, and sometimes
navigating the airport.
You don't know who people are until you travel with them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, bless their hearts. I know I love to travel. And I went out and saw my little brother Drew in Kansas a couple years ago. And I flew out there and back by myself, and it was so much fun. Laid over in Dallas on the way out there because you can't get a direct flight to Wichita from anywhere. So it was fun. Flew back through Chicago and had that I had a backpack. That's all I took with me because it was just me.
That's smart.
And then we flew out there. It's been 3 years ago now. My wife and our two little boys flew to Dallas for his wedding. And it was awful because God bless. It's my kids I'm talking about. They're 4 and 2, I guess, at the time.
Oh,
and we had to get there at 6 in the morning, and it challenged our marriage.
It does. The drive to Atlanta does that to us every time.
It
to drive to the Atlanta airport, we test our marriage every time we do that.
Yeah. One of us is getting stuck with these kids, and the other one's leaving, and we're gonna like rock paper scissors or whatever. But it was fun. I'm glad we did it, and it was a good experience for them. Because my oldest son still talks about it. The time we went on our trip in our favorite rocket ship, Little Einstein's theme song.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? And the next time they go to the airport, they're going to be better at it because they are experiencing things that. And the Atlanta airport is a beast at itself as well.
Yeah.
That's not something that's very simple. There are much smaller airports in our country that would be so much easier for you to take your 2 and 4 year old through.
First trip,
first trip. But it will make them better travelers and make them more relaxed. So they won't be as nervous as teenagers or adults when they're going through the airport.
Right.
Because they've been through that whole process.
Yeah.
So it is good that you take them. Our 3-year-old granddaughter flies to see her aunt and uncle in Texas.
That's fun.
And I guess they've taken we have our youngest will be 1 year old on Tuesday, and I think he's already been out there as well. So
okay, yeah, get on the plane. It's fun. Stuff your kids on there and fly them across the country.
Right. And I can help. See, there you go. Something else. I can help people with finding fun things to do to keep a 3-year-old entertained. Not much for a 1-year-old, but hard to keep a 1-year-old entertained.
Right, they're just going to do what they do.
They do. But
we went to the gift shop and bought a couple of those little airplanes, and they flew them around. And we got through. But.
One of the funnest things is buy a roll of blue painter's tape and pull your lap table down for a little kid that's small, between 1 and 2, and tear off pieces and stick it there and let them pull it off and move it. They love that. Stick it on the window. You can buy window clings for the windows if they're over there on the window seat.
How about
they can
that?
Decorate and undecorate. And the blue painter's tape is easy.
That's why you hire a travel agent, right? Because you know stuff like that.
That's right. That's right.
Oh gosh, that's awesome. I'm going sort of out of order with my questions here because that's just the way the conversation went. You're going to Sandals Royal Bahamian. How do you say that?
Royal Bohemian.
In November.
We are. We have another group going. That's a 3-night short stay. I like to host people. I like to host groups because a lot of people like to do what's called travel with your travel agent. They feel better about going somewhere when they know we've been, I've experienced it, or I'm with them, and that's like when we went to Alaska, a large portion of the people who were with us were flying out of the Atlanta. So I put us all on the same airplane.
Okay.
So that we were all together. So it was really cool. And you can do as much with a group or as little. You can either hang with a group the whole time or not at all. And we are doing the same thing in November 13th through the 16th. We have a group going, and Sandals is an amazing company. I love them as an all-inclusive resort because they are amazing and they take care of my clients. Everything. Once you've made the payment, it's all included. No one is standing around with their hand out for a tip. You're not expected to do anything extra, and there's no room categories that get some kind of dinner that you can't get, or a certain pool. And there are a lot of all-inclusive resorts that you have to be in a certain type of room to get to go to this Diamond Club level pool or to this restaurant. But at Sandals, it's all included all the time. So
that's nice.
I love Sandals, and they're an amazing foundation. The Sandals Foundation is somebody that I love to donate to because they are made of the Caribbean, and they just put so much money back into the Caribbean islands and the Caribbean people. It's a Caribbean company.
Okay.
And
I didn't know it was like a foundation.
Oh, they have it's really cool. And you can even, if you're at a Sandals Resort, one of the excursions that you can do is they'll take you to a local school and you can read to the children and you can get to experience
How cool is that?
what school is like in another country.
Yeah.
And I've been to schools in Jamaica, and you can carry, it's either 5 or 7 pounds of school supplies without having to claim it in your luggage. So
That's
I take
a lot
that
of school supplies.
every time we go.
Yeah.
And I've seen the teachers, these sweet teachers, take these pencils that I bring and start to break them all in half so that it makes
Now you
two
have two
pencils.
pencils, yeah.
Now you have two. So I always make sure and grab some of those little erasers that will fit on the end of it. So
Yeah.
we have erasers for both pencils.
That's cool.
But it's amazing. The kids are incredible, and they have oh gosh, what did they call it? Now I'm gone blank now. It's not infant school, but the school that we were at had 6 classrooms, and they were up through the age of 6 years old. And I think they start at like 2.
Oh, wow.
And you should, the cafeteria, let me tell you, talk about smell good. I mean, real food being cooked in there for these little babies.
Yeah.
So, but it was great getting to experience the day. And you can do that as an excursion with Sandals. You can donate your time. You can bring in school supplies, do those sort of things. And they really dump money back into the Caribbean and help their employees. 3 of the Sandals resorts were hit. All of Jamaica was hit in October of 2025 by a horrible hurricane.
Right.
I think it was Melissa,
I think that's right.
I don't know. Sorry, all the Melissas out there if that's the wrong name. But I think it was Melissa. And 3 of those resorts are still closed to this day.
Oh, wow.
Those employees are all still being paid and have been paid throughout.
Through the foundation. Mm-hmm. God bless them.
And they've decided, since they needed so much work, just to go ahead and dump more money into them. And when they reopen, they'll be what we call Sandals 2.0. That means they are just at another level. It's Sandals Montego Bay, Sandals South Coast, which is on the other end of the island in Westmoreland.
Right.
And then I think it's Sandals Royal Caribbean. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank right now. But they're going to open up this year in December. But sorry, you brought up Sandals
good.
Royal Bohemian, and that's in the Bahamas. And that's actually my husband's favorite resort that Sandals has. It's a great resort. They have their own little private island, which you can go to. There's a ferry boat that runs, a pontoon that runs back and forth every 2 hours, I think.
Okay.
You can spend the day on the island. You can spend the day right here at the resort. It's great. It's relaxation at best.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, and all-inclusive. That's tough to beat. That word keeps going through my head. And
It's an amazing way to vacation.
Well, you don't want to go somewhere where somebody's always got their hand out and, I paid, X number of dollars to be here and I'm still paying.
That's right. That's right. And I love that, because once you've paid for it, if you don't want to pull that wallet out again through the whole trip, you don't have to.
Right.
There are some extenuating circumstances.
Sure.
Obviously, anybody who touches my luggage, coming from the airport, I'm going to hand them a few dollars, because the way they touch your luggage matters.
Yeah.
And so
right.
I do tip them. And then the people who are doing transfers generally aren't Sandals employees. They are probably not charter services, but hired out help companies. And I will tip those guys driving the buses. But other than that, you never tip a Sandals resort personnel unless you're in the spa or you're going to have a butler. And you tip your butlers.
You should tip a butler.
You need to tip your butler. Those are English trained butlers, and you have 2 at your stay. You have one during the day and one at night. You don't. I even have a freebie online that I will send people about what all a butler will do for you, because I have 52, I think, on the list of things that a butler can do for you that you may not realize they'll do, and it's amazing.
Okay.
So you have to tip those people.
Yeah. Well, is it? What's like the standard there?
For a butler?
Yeah, just anybody, your luggage handler, your butler, whoever you're going to tip.
I tip them a couple of dollars for my luggage, however many pieces, a couple of dollars for each piece.
Right.
And that's fine. And you can tip in U.S., they're all fine with that.
Right.
Butlers, generally between $20 and $40 a day per butler, I think is a good tip, because of what they do for you.
Yeah. If they can do 52 things for you, that's a big deal.
More than that even.
Yeah.
But yeah, so whatever you're using them for, if you're having them, if you wanted lunch out on the beach brought to you, then they'll bring you your lunch. Do you have a phone that you carry that they have, and you can just pick up the phone and say, hey,
Wow.
And not to mention, you're sitting in the beach chairs that they went out and saved for you that morning.
Right.
With a cooler with all your favorite drinks, alcohol or non-alcohol,
That's
in
worth
the
a few
cooler.
dollars.
And you're sitting in those chairs, and you just say, hey, this is Mr. and Miss Burnham, and we would like to have lunch from, Butch's, I don't know, the Gordon's, any of the restaurants, the Italian restaurant, whatever. Would you bring it to us? Or pizza. They have great pizza on the resorts. I'm a pizza girl. And they'll bring you whatever you like.
Yeah.
Right there. And I love it that they save your chairs for you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there is still a chair game going on at resorts. Just like in Eddie Beach here in the States.
Yeah,
there's some competition.
Well, we have that at church too. You're sitting in my chair.
That's right. That's my pew, lady. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I don't know. I guess I didn't know you could get a butler. It makes sense at a resort that they'd have somebody that would take care of you. But I didn't realize they would do so many things.
Sandals has 3 different types of room categories. They have butler level, they have club level, and then they have luxury. Luxury is I'm glad to be on property, and that's what I got.
Right.
I'm on property. Club level means you have club level staff that man the club from probably 7 in the morning to 10 at night. And if you need anything, you can call them and they'll help you out with some restaurants need to have reservations made at them. Some don't. But they can help you with those kind of things, and they can help you with excursions. And then the butlers, of course, is the highest tier. And they'll literally, it's the best form of travel as far as if you want to spoil your sweetheart.
It's gotta be.
Because everything, rose petals sprinkled on the bed, turn down service, breakfast in bed, whatever you want, those kind of things.
All right. You're treating yourself there. That's awesome.
It's a treat. It's a great way to spend an anniversary or any kind of special milestone trip for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
or
stuff.
Just any summer, right?
Yeah. Just whenever, any old time. But you did a Mother's Day. I don't know. Mother's Day was recently. It says you're recently highlighted Mother's Day trip ideas. Mm-hmm. We got Father's Day coming up, probably about the time this episode drops, actually. What are some of the trends and things that you're seeing in terms of like multi-generational travel? You talk about groups and things, but let's take mom on a trip.
Okay, that's a great idea. First off, I do want to say, do you remember what you got for Christmas? Any Christmas? Can you tell me that?
I do. Well, I do, and only because my wife gave it to me yesterday.
Okay, well, that's cheating.
I know.
It's not December.
Well, it was from last year.
Okay.
No, she forgot she had it, and it just never. Anyway, but no, I don't for the most part.
But I bet you can remember a trip you took.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe that there's so much more than. If you give experiences, you create memories that will last forever.
Right.
And if you give clothes, they outgrow them. Toys, they end up breaking them, or things like that.
Yeah.
They're not going to want. But a kid will remember a trip forever.
Yeah.
And I love multi-generational trips. I'm working with a family here locally. Grandmom is about to take 19 of her family members to Disney, and we're planning it for next summer.
Right.
And that's the beauty, like I said, about planning far in advance.
Yeah.
But just to see that grandmom and all these adult children and these grandchildren, well, it's grandmom and her adult children and their adult children and the great-grandchildren. That's how it's going to work.
So we got 4 generations.
We're going to have 4 generations going. And, those pictures are going to be incredible. And the young lady that I'm working with, she told me her grandmother doesn't ride rides. And I'm like, well, I honestly understand that. She's in her 80s.
Right.
But she gets to walk down Main Street with these great-grandchildren who have never seen the castle yet.
Oh, yeah. Watch their eyeballs pop out and all that.
Yeah. Or when they get to see their favorite character for the first time, whether it be a princess or a Marvel character.
Right.
If they're on a ship, they can see the Disney Marvel characters on the ships. Or if they're in the parks, they can see the characters, all there as well. So you talked about take mom on a trip, but, taking mom on a trip is special. We carried my mom, my sister and I, and my daughter several years ago, probably in 2022, on a Disney cruise. We gave it to her for Mother's Day, and we just got to get away with her. Our parents, I know yours, our parents crave time with us because I crave time with my adult children.
Right.
And I love to spend one-on-one time with them. And so anytime we can get away with them, it's just it's just great, and now to have our grandchildren involved in the mix,
Yeah.
It makes it better. So we take a family trip every year in June. Our children grew up doing it, so now their children grow up doing it, and they expect it. That's part of life.
Right. That's just what we do in June.
That's what we do in June.
Yeah.
And so we'll go to Daytona Beach, and that's uninterrupted time. And that's, I love that when a family goes to Disney and their teenage kids aren't on their phones.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not wishing they were with somebody else. And it's where everybody can be a kid again. And, you leave those troubles and worries behind, and you focus solely on those you love the most. So I love multi-generational trips. I love to help with those.
Yeah. I know you had talked about groups, and that's a more specific type of group, I guess. But so my birthday's in September. Anybody out there, especially Miss Burnham, Christmas is a good time to travel. We wanted a Christmas trip a couple years ago. So anybody out there that wants to spring for a trip for me, I'm good. Really, anytime. Birthday would be cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Birthdays are good. September's a great time to travel. I love to travel. The cool thing about giving the gift of travel is you don't have to give the trip to be taken at Christmas. A lot of people create a trip and then give their children a few little things that will go along with the trip because sometimes they don't want to be or can't be away from home at Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't be.
Right.
Because I have
tough.
too many people that I want to see, so I can't just take off and go somewhere.
Yeah.
But we could take the trip in February, or you can take the trip maybe in January. So, and I got an email on the way up here from a lady who's looking to give her family a trip for Christmas, and they want to take it in March of next year. So that's a great time. So it's kind of ends up being on spring break, but it is their Christmas gift.
Right.
And it gives something for them to look at, plan, and talk about. It's a connection point that they have when they get to be together.
Oh, that's
they can
cool.
talk about, we're going to Turks and Caicos,
Yeah.
and we're going to get on the plane and we're going to fly, and here's what we're going to see, and the water's crystal clear, and here's where we're going to eat, and, all those kind of things.
Yeah, and you get to give this gift to these people.
I love to help with it. It's so much fun. It's fun.
It seems like you enjoy it.
I do.
Good. Yeah, living the dream, right? That's what we talked about.
Yes, for sure.
What else do people need to know? Anything else you want to throw out as we're getting toward wrap up time? But
I have people who say they want to plan the trip. I'm not going to take that away from them.
Right.
I come along beside them, and they can do as much work or as little work on the trip as they want.
Yeah.
And they ultimately always have final say. It's their trip.
Right.
I give you offers and suggestions, but you get to really make the decisions.
Yeah.
And I'm here for them. I'm a local girl, and, support a small business.
Well, that was something I meant to ask you earlier. Does somebody have to be local to book with you?
No.
There you go.
I have a large clientele in Ohio, actually. It's funny.
Okay, cool.
And in the Midwestern states, not Ohio, excuse me, it's not Ohio. It is, where is that? It's Arizona, actually. Yeah, I don't know how I got that confused. Sorry.
Okay.
But because one girl reached out, and then she told a few of her friends who I was, because we have a phone. I don't have to be around the corner.
Yeah.
And if they want to meet, then I can Zoom meet with them. Or hey, maybe I'll
Zoom
just
meet for a living. I get it.
That's right. Maybe I'll just pack up and fly out there if I need to.
If you have to,
if
right?
I have
If
to,
you had
I
to
can
go to
do that.
Arizona.
That's
Yeah.
right. So that would be good. But no, you
cool.
don't have to be local to use me.
Well, in that case, how do people contact you?
Well, I'm going to give my phone number out. Isn't that scary?
Do it. There are millions of people watching. No,
That's right, all your listeners. But I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page. I have a website. My website is vacationsbywendi.com, and hopefully it's got some great information on there. I have a Linktree account that you can get off of there. It's just Wendi Corn, CORN, and my phone number is 706-766-8191, and I would love to help you.
Good deal.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again sometime if you want to.
I would love to.
We'll maybe
I got
get
some exciting news coming up in the fall. So
okay.
I would love to
I'll
come
need a
back
guest
and,
in the fall too. So that
Okay.
works out good.
I would love to come share.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
guys for
having me.
watching. Christ is King. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much.